So it looks like it should be good. It looks like it's live. At least on YouTube it is. Which, let me refresh the page. Yes, we are live on both Twitch and YouTube. Cool. Let's check if it has been posted. Yes, we are live. Okay, so the music right now, I need to switch this to this. So you have the name of the song and the artist. This is music from Epidemic Sound. Hi, I'm Pixy Punk. Welcome to Craft and Chill. This is the 21st of November 2025. And Craft and Chill is basically a body doubling stream. So if you have a project you're working on, it doesn't have to be crochet, it doesn't have to be knit, doesn't have to be weaving, doesn't have to be making armor, doesn't have to be doing code. You can be writing a book. You can even be cleaning your house. It is a place for you to just chill, unwind, get focus stuff done if you need to do that. That's why it's craft and chill. I have a bunch of music from Epidemic Sound, primarily in the post-rock, rock, metal, alternative, punk genres on a playlist that I have on shuffle. And we just create things together. If you want to chat, please do. Chat is open on both Twitch and YouTube. I just have to make sure my laptop with the Twitch chat does not screen time out on me. Other than that, we are good, as far as I know. So, how are things? Right now, song's getting a bit quiet, so I'm going to actually put my volume down a bit and increase the music. So, enjoy. recall what that was. Hmm. This be easier to hold. Very good. Yeah, I am working on a blanket. It is using mandala in several different colorways. I am using a knit version of Anchalak. So these squares, or rectangles, depending on if I properly had the right number of stitches when I cast, or when I picked up, end up working together to make this almost patchwork design. And it looks way more intricate than it is. It's just sections of stockinette, the way I'm doing it, with picking up stitches when you start and combining two of the stitches when you get to a point where you need to connect your new section to the previous row's section. So it ends up fairly simple. I mean, I think the stitches that I've used are KFB, or like knit front and back. That is for when I am increasing on the ends so that it continues out, starting with like a couple of stitches, so it becomes a triangle instead of a square, so you can have another square / rectangle connect to it above that, and this one will have its own version of this, and it continues on. This is the row that I'm currently on that is connected to the giant circular needle. But let's see, I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows in, and it is, I'm going to get the fabric stitch marker, one measuring tape thingy, if I have it in this area. If not, I have regular measuring tape. I will be back with a regular measuring tape. Hold on, it's right over there. Okay, regular measuring tape. Let's see how wide across this is. I'm just going to... the edges. Oh. To this end. So point to here is 3 feet. We are 3 feet along one direction. The other direction is over 7 foot long. So 7 foot by 3 feet. If I add another foot of width, that makes this about a row size blanket, but I'm going to be adding that with just the next ball of yarn easily. And this isn't even a full blanket, like, isn't a full ball of yarn. I have another one of this particular colorway that will be at the end. I have one of the giant mandala bonus bundle ones that has kind of a sad beige moment in the middle of it that I'm hoping will get this to be a little bit more sand beach colors, as well as the autumnal fall-ish colors that you don't really see where I live by the beach. But yeah, that's the plan with it so far. Let me put this back. Actually, I will be right back. I have to get something. Okay, that is the coffee being made. Okay, cool. It's no longer soft focus. The cat is chilling right off to the other side of the screen door. Well, not really screen door at the sliding door. And yeah, I was just checking in on her and making coffee. But now she's like, I need more human time. I gave her quite a bit of human time a little bit ago. So, cats. She usually is like, okay, you've given me a couple of scritches, now leave. And now she's like, I don't mean leave. Come on, stay, come back. Human. Human? I'm on the other side of this door. Come out here. Be on the other side of the door with me. She is a porch cat. She does not do well indoors. And once she sets foot outside, she turns tail and runs back in. So the lanai is her home. And she seems to very much love it, except for when fireworks exist. Understandably. Lately, it seems that around 5 a.m. she starts wanting attention, but today she is about 45 minutes earlier than usual. I'll see if she wants to be picked up. If so, I'll see if I can bring her in here so she can basically be the cat tax. Be right back, hopefully with cat tax ready. Don't want to end up like in prison for not showing the chaos gremlin. She's not liking it though, so I'm going to release. She got her scratches and is wanting nothing more to do with me right now, so yeah. Cats. Yeah, it's probably not a good example because I'm a mirror knitter. For me, when I get to the join with the next section, I do knit two together. Most of my stitches are knit because I knit both directions to do stockinette, and then, I mean, you can still do this with garter. It's more commonly, I think, known with garter stitch. And then it ends up looking very basket weavy, which is a really cool effect. Because this is acrylic yarn, I'm basically going to, when it's completely done, steam this because this is very, like, 3D right now in its shaping. So I'll have to steam block it so it lays flat, but, yeah. The stitches are a basic cable cast on. In my case, knit stitch. You can also do purl stitch, knit and purl. You can do a bunch of different stitch patterns in the sections. You can even do lace, or you can figure out a graph of something and kind of figure out how to get it to text properly. So that can also be a thing. But yeah. Knit cable cast on because it just makes it easy, and then you do a multiple of the number of stitches across you want each section to be in, and then you do that for the cast on. From the, I started with half of that number and then the full number each section that I wanted to get the length that I figured would be about 6 feet, maybe more, which turned out to be a little bit over 7, which I am totally fine with, because this would be a nice, very comfy, for me, wrap / blanket, and it will be heavy, so nice for me. So I did that, and then when I got to that point at the end, I started doing the so I would do a cast on and basically knit, adding more stitches until I have the full amount. Yeah, that's what I did. So cast on like a couple, and then I just knit while increasing on the one edge where it would be the end of the edge of the blanket. So it looks like this triangle. So started like here, added more at the end of each one. No, here. Added more and more at the end of each one until I had the full number across that I wanted in this section. So in between this and the next one. Then I did the same thing over and over and over until I got to the end. Then I basically did that in reverse with the start of the next row, where I picked up all of these stitches and I didn't really pick these up, these were on the needle. I started and I increased on this edge, like this edge, and I just knit 2 together at the end to get to the point where it was connecting. So I did that all the way up this section, and then the color change happened. I had these stitches that I needed to pick up, so I picked them up. These were already on the needle. I knit 2 together and turned, and then at the end of each row I knit 2 together and then just turned after that. So it just worked like that, and then I got to the point where I did the knit 2 together. I went back and then forward and picked up the stitches for the next bit. Continued, then basically it's the same thing in reverse, the other direction. So that's how this thing works. If you know the knit stitch, if you know a cast on stitch, you can learn knit 2 together. It's basically, instead of knitting 1 stitch, you're just knitting 2. And then the knit front and back is you're knitting in the front loop of the stitch and knitting in the back loop of the stitch. You may have to turn a stitch around to do that, which I often have to because I tend to knit and have all of my yarn, regardless of if it's knit or purl, I have it go up between the needles and around that one that I'm using to pull the new loop through. So if I'm doing a purl, I go between the needles, so up between the needles, over. It makes it so that my purl stitches and my knit stitches have the same amount of yarn that they're using, which minimizes rowing out, but it also means that certain stitches you have to turn them around to get them to properly work without being twisted. Yeah. That works. You end up with the stitches you want, where you want them, and as long as you remember that you need to turn some of the stitches around when you're working back into them, you will prevent yourself from twisting your stitches. Also, just pay more attention to which of the sides, like back or front, is the first one, the one closest to your needle's head. Because if you're knitting and the back is close to your needle tip, that's the one you go in. If it is the front one, which is closer to the needle tip, let me turn this one around. So in my case, this would be my front loop, which is currently the back for you. I would go into the front that way and still do that. And there is no difference between those two. But if the front loop is the back, which for me is the back, for you see it as the front, and instead I go with the front loop, I am twisting that stitch. And that twisted stitch will not stretch the way it's supposed to as a knit stitch, which is why you just have to be very cognizant of which part of the stitch you're going into. Things that I've learned over time. I was not taught about twisted stitches until I was in my late 20s. I taught myself to knit when I was in my mid-teens, and I didn't know what a twisted stitch was and that I was doing them until I was in my late 20s, so mid to late 20s. So, yeah, thankfully, someone saw me knitting and asked me why I was doing twisted stitches, and I was like, what's a twisted stitch? And then she explained, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. Thank you very much. Okay, so now you know. So you don't have to feel like, okay, I've been twitching, like, I've been twisting my stitches for, let's see, over a decade? No wonder things weren't that stretchy. But when she realized that I taught myself to knit, it was like, okay, cool. I can teach you some tricks that I learned growing up in a community that knitting is very much common. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. If you want, I'm going to put a link to a list of blocked terms that I'm using on the AutoMod. If you find any terms that have been missed, it is like an easy way to just add it to your own AutoMod list is an asterisk, the term, another asterisk, and yeah, that in the AutoMod thing will lock that particular thing, that particular annoying part of being a streamer. So you can have that list. I will put it in my Discord so that you guys have access to that list, the one I'm currently using. Actually, let me see if I can do that right now while I'm thinking of it, because then you guys don't have to worry about that as your own streaming. Okay. This. I'm going to set y'all up as commenters, so anyone with this link can comment. You can, in the comments, add things if they need to be added, and then I can see the comments and add them in as well. Plus, I'll check, make sure they're not on the list already, because otherwise it is going to be potentially annoying when you end up having like a session of maybe 15-20 minutes where you are just putting the text or Stringer resources. Text, channel, creating it, and the automat lists. Okay. So that is in the Stringer resources on the Pixy Punk Discord. Just to see if there are any things. Okay, I do not have that in here, so I need to send myself that link. Okay. Give you guys the link. I am going to find where I put it under here. So you guys, if you don't have the Discord link already, you'll be able to have access to that. Okay, let's open this now. Things will be over here. Here. Discord server is there. Coffee is probably ready right now, so I will go get that and be right back. back. Good choice of shirt. Okay. Oh. So, yeah, the main reason that I put that link in the Discord is because I have found that AutoMod catches almost every single one of the bots that I've had to deal with that list. So if you are a streamer or know a streamer, that list is probably going to be very useful for them. Or you, depending on if you're the streamer or if you know the streamer. Just random, friendly help type of thing. So, if you stream, good luck, enjoy, and post something about your stream, like what you stream, so that those of us who are here, be it now or in the VOD, can look you up and maybe, I don't know, follow. Watch another creative person do this chaotic streaming thing. Figure out why the multi-chat wasn't showing things right. It's connected to the wrong thing. Figures. just realized that I have like 70,472 gold in my stream avatar, and I haven't really had it battle anyone yet. Or at least not on my channel in like ever. I did have it battle on Umbrella de Minale's channel. So yeah. The avatar needed a refresh. Just like the channel kind of needed a refresh, and it is primarily going to be for the craft and chills now. The gaming is being done over on Gothic Pixy. So this is going to be the craft and chill area. Gothic Pixy will be the gaming center. That way, it's very easy to be like, okay, Pixy Punk is on. It is a body doubling, crafting, listening to music session. Is almost done. I'm going to rush and join it to the inside of this one. And instead of looking outside and in on that particular peak of yarn, I'm gonna, like this one was, I'm going to work inside out. So it'll end with the more hunter green that's on the outside, which will transition really nicely into the, well, I think that is the outside of the large coat. That's the next one I'm going to be using. And it's 5 a.m. right now, so it'll be quite interesting to see how long the cat will hold off on demanding my attention. Cats be like that sometimes. She's not in the mood to be picked up, understandably. So she will have to wait. Her breakfast time is in a little less than 1 hour. We will get her scritches and cuddle time then. stitch marker time. Marking off where the last section ended so that I can start picking up stitches to this point on this particular section to start the new section. Okay. while smoking tea. No, I do not teach knitting. I am doing this as a kind of body doubling thing with epic music. Because I find that type of thing to be really useful for getting some projects done. But I have thought of teaching in the past. I have tutored people in different subjects. I currently am working as part of a tech startup. So I do this for my own sanity's sake outside and to get some crafting done. I have another channel, which is my older channel, Gothic Pixy, that I do gaming on the weekends. But yeah, if you have questions about any of the knitting I'm doing right now, feel free to ask. Seriously. It's just, this project is fairly heavy, being currently 7 feet long by about 3 feet wide of acrylic double knit weight yarn. So that, and I'm using which size for these again? I think these were the 8s. Circulars that are maybe 3 feet long. And this may look a bit complex, but it's actually not that complex. The stitches that are needed are stockinette, if you know stockinette. Knit on one side, purl on together. I do it a little differently because I'm a mirror knitter, so I can do this knitting right-handed, knitting left-handed. It depends on the use case. So the question of, do I like knitting or crochet better? I do crochet as well. This is the dice bag. This is a cactus pincushion. I figured it would be more appropriate than, let's see, a tomato, because, well, at least a cactus is supposed to have needles. I have knit shirts, like t-shirt size, I've knit sweaters, I've knit a long sleeve, well, it was kind of a combination knit and crochet, long sleeve, split back, almost duster length, with bell sleeves, and I think it was Victorian lace details, cardigan. So yeah, I've crocheted blankets. I am currently in the process of knitting a blanket so that I have one that is in this stitch pattern that makes it look really patchwork because of the yarn I'm using. I'm kind of like craft agnostic. I also make armor. I sew, I weave. I have experience in a lot of different crafts. I try to learn a new skill each year and improve on at least one of my previous skills. So, a couple of years ago, I took that challenge as, okay, I will make myself socks. I haven't had to buy socks since. It's great. I spent a year where each month I made at least one pair of socks, either knit or crocheted, and it led to having awesome socks that I will wear, that are very durable, that are very easy to repair. I have some that are crocheted, I have some that are knit. I found the crochet ones worked really well when I was in Colorado over the last Christmas break, and in Florida the knit ones are great. Pretty much year round. I knit with acrylic, cotton, wool. If I can find linen, I will knit with linen. I have knit with rayon made from bamboo, so technically it is rayon, it's just that they use bamboo instead of other wood pulp, which weirdly enough is fairly comfortable, even though it's a long sleeve jumper that I made and pretty much wore in summer in South Florida. So it's one of those things where you just find what works for you. And if crochet works, cool. If knitting works, cool. If both knit and crochet work, cool. For me, it's just, I like learning different things, making things with my hands. And if it means that I have a fairly eclectic taste of skills, cool. Yeah. I even last year learned to spin. I got myself a drop spindle, a bunch of braids. Cool. How do you like Craftsy? I've never actually gone onto that site. So remember they were having like the $1 for a year deal, but never really looked into it. So I know myself. I have had streaming services that I basically, after not using them for an entire year, I basically just canceled. So I know I'm not going to probably use Craftsy, just the way I am as a person. Okay, I just went beyond where I needed to turn. Okay, by one whole panel. Let me jog back. Or at least reverse knit, so take it back. Hazards of streaming and crafting at the same time when you're talking. You get so engrossed in conversation that you go beyond where you were supposed to turn around. Okay, so almost at the U-turn. Okay, this one go. Pixy tug. Then knit all the way back to the stitch marker. Life is like that at times. What were you trying to get done? What were you trying to learn or practice? Was it crochet or knits or some other craft? I mean, you could probably even macrame it, depending on your materials. Yeah. So, knit or crochet is probably like a good beginner question there. Scarves are great ways to practice. Oh, so sewing it. Awesome. So you bought stuff, including a sewing machine. Were you, was it a knit fabric or a woven fabric? Or fleece? So depending on the type of material, you might need a specific type of needle for a sewing machine. So it doesn't end up like, if it's a knit material, you want a more ballpoint ended instead of sharp point ended sewing needle in the machine. If it is something that is woven or point, depending on the thickness of the material, you would want a more heavy-duty needle and potentially a more heavy-duty thread. If it is something for a knit type of project scarf, then it could be very simplistic. Actually, hold on. That stuff over here. I need to keyboard for my... Okay. If it's knitting, crochet. Computer had issues and then you basically were focused on other things. I totally get that. When I originally had the Gothic Pixy channel, it was named something else back years ago, back in 2014, I think was when I started, like January. And I was doing a bunch of gaming. Right now, just trying to see if I've got a crochet hook right here. I do. Crochet hook. I can put this away and because this one is fairly easy to see, if I have it in front of me, I can show you a little bit of how to start. Do you know how to do a slip ring, like a slip knot? It is very, very much a good start. And it's useful for many different crafts. So if you can do a slip knot, you have basically the little bit that you start with. Because you have the slip knot, you have your hook. You put the hook in the knot, pull it so it's not totally tight and that there is a little bit of wiggle room so you can go back and forth. And that's about the tension you want it to be. So you have something to work with. And then you wrap the yarn over so that it will go into the hook area, like this. And then I suggest holding the knot when you start. You basically are going to thread the hook through the loop and pull it up. And try to keep about the same amount of tension and space that you had when you had the knot on it around the loop. Just not removing it, and do the same hook through the loop, having the same amount of space, just a little bit of loop space because the hook. And you keep doing that until you have it, I would say the length of the scarf makes it a lot easier, because then you have the length of the scarf and then you just can go back and forth in rows to make the width you want it. And if you run out of yarn and it's the length you, or the width you want, you're good. If you run out of yarn and it is not, you can find either another ball of yarn and add that to it, or you can just go with another color if you have it, or yeah. So I'm doing a little mini sample here of chaining to a certain length. Let me see, do I have something I can measure against? going to make a mini phone cozy, because that's around the width that a scarf would be. That is long enough to cover the chain. Okay. So we have the chain. Where we are at is this loop. This here. One loop. Here. There's another loop here. Yeah, it looks like this on one side. On the other side, it's got these little bump ridges. I would say skip the first bump ridge, go into the second bump ridge, because then, yeah, and then you pull up a loop through the bump ridge. So here's the hook in the bump ridge, wrap, pull that wrapped loop through the bump ridge, take the bump ridge off of. So you have the bump ridge on the hook, you wrap the yarn over the hook, pull the hook through the bump ridge, so you now have two loops on the hook, wrap again, and then through both on the hook. You see that area where the bump ridge was just at? Now you go into the next one. Wrap, pull through, wrap, pull through two. And you just keep doing that, and that is your single crochet. So I'm gonna do that to the end here, and then I'm going to show you another stitch, because this is single crochet, at least in US terminology, that I've been showing you after the chain. And I'm going to show you another one that is a little bit quicker to work up, like width-wise, so that you can use that one to make a quicker. It'll be a little bit less dense than the single crochet, but it will also cover more space. I do not know where you are, and where I'm from, this is something that I've done before, and it's like, okay, I seldom wear it because it ends up way too hot, but I have a scarf. It's the first one I made. I made it a bit longer than I wanted so that I could fold up the ends and sew them into pockets, so that I had pockets for my books. Understandable. Well, make the best of the subscription in this coming year. Learn everything you can. But yeah, feel free to come back anytime you see that I am streaming, because now I have basically the Craft and Chills on this channel, and all of my gaming stuff is on the other one. So Craft and Chill, and obviously chatting in chat, and helping with crafting. If there are any questions, I'm very much willing to either help with advice or show how I'm doing something, explain why I'm doing something the way I'm doing it. Sometimes it's because I figured something that worked for me, which the mirror knitting is definitely something that worked for me. But also there are other things that you can do. I will be willing to find other resources if there are things you need that I do not know the answers to. You're welcome. So this is single crochet, what I'm doing. I'm almost to the end of this chain. Single crochet would be a bit of a thicker stitch than a lot of other ones. So it works up a little bit slower when you're talking about the width of the project. But if you're wanting to work on improving your stitches and work on maybe multiple different types of stitches, you could do a whole bunch of different types of stitches to do a kind of sample scarf. It would be really cute or cool or whatever way you want to have it look. I mean, you could use really crochet and knitting, it honestly depends on the person. I know people who find knitting to be easier. I know people who find crocheting to be easier. And I think if you are, let's see, the way I hold this is similar to how my sister was trying to teach me to hold the bow for violin. So I found that works for me, but crochet does work for a lot of people for beginner. Knitting I find to be easier to fix mistakes. Crochet, you have to basically frog back if you have like a mistake 4 rows down that will make it difficult for a pattern to work, or you just can't figure out a way to get it to work with like maybe just slightly adjusting things. Yeah. But knitting, you can usually, if you skipped a stitch down like 4 rows, you can use a crochet hook to literally knit up the ladder so you can get it back onto the hook or back onto the needle. So it honestly depends on what the pain points are for you, basically. Okay, so I'm at the end. This was into the last bump. I'm going to chain 3. Basically the same tension. Turn around. The first area here, because all of these now look like the side that we had at the beginning. Here, this, you have a front to you loop, a back to you loop, and you can go through down underneath both of them. So if you want it to look like it has lines, like it's got ribbing, you go into the back to you loop. So that would basically be when you see this little V area, you go in through the top and out the back side of it. Then you wrap and pull up. Oh, actually, I need to wrap first. Wrap that in there, through, wrap and pull up, And now you have 3 on the hook, because, yeah, so it's yarn over, in, yarn over, pull that through. So you have 3 on the hook, yarn over, and we are going to go through 2, and then yarn over, go through 2. This is called a half double crochet. And so it's yarn over, through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. So yarn over, in through the top, out through the back, yarn over, pull that through, like that loop, through the loop you went through in the previous row of stitches. So you have 3 on the hook, wrap, pull that loop that you just made through the first 2 stitches, you have 2 left, wrap, through those 2. So, wrap, wrap, go through, wrap, through 2, wrap, go through 2. This is the half double crochet, and it is being done in the back loop, which on the front side will give you a ridge. So there's a visible look of a ribbing ridge right here. So it can look like ribbon. And honestly, that's just because we are going to do the back loop in this one. On this side, you don't really see that. So I'm going to continue this through to the end, and then the next row we will do a double crochet down, basically to this point. Last stitch here, which is from the chain 3. And the reason we did chain 3 on this was the height of the half double crochet. It is more than 2 chains. Single crochet is about 2 chains high. Internet has just had a little hiccup. Okay. We are good. Crochet fabrics and knit fabrics are also different in varying ways. Crochet tends to use more yarn than knit for covering the same amounts of space using the same diameter hook and needle. So if you are wanting to use less yarn on a project, knitting is quite often a better option. If you're wanting to use more yarn, nice! So that is going to be a very warm scarf. So enjoy. Okay, I'm at the end where we did the chain 2 and turn originally. So I am going to do that into this, like into both the front and back loop of that, just so that it makes it a bit neater of an edge. So I went into the front and back of that stitch there, because it's fairly tight at the end usually. It is going to look nice, and it will straighten up the edge instead of it being along the end. This, okay, and then finish this stitch. I'm going to turn and chain 3. And then I am going to wrap once, go into the full top and bottom loop, so like the front and back loop. So you see how this has a bottom bar and up here is the 2 top ones. We're going into that hole for a double crochet, like yarning over the hook, dragging that loop that you just made through the center of that previous stitch there, wrapping through 1 loop, wrap through 2, wrap through 2. You have a double crochet. So over, so yarn over, or YO. We're going to go through that loop, pick up another loop, pull that through, yarn over through 1, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And I'm going to do this a little bit more just so that you can see how wide these stitches can get. I just did a half double instead. Force of habit. 1, 2, 2. 1, 2, 2. Okay. So here you have an example of single crochet being this size, double is this size, well, double, half double is this size, and regular double is a little bit bigger, so it's making these stitches a little bit taller, but it also makes it a little bit more mesh. The least mesh one being the single crochet. No, I am not in Europe. I am in the US, on the East Coast, and I'm actually quite amazed that the cat is not complaining right now because it's her breakfast time, and I am going to have to close down to feed her and give her her cuddles and do some of my remote work outside for a bit. But it's been great talking with you. I hope I was able to help you at least get your head around the stitches you may want to use. And I hope to chat with you next time that you end up seeing I'm on stream and just want to hang out and chat. It works. Totally awesome. And if you are cool, you're from South Jersey? I have relatives are from there as well. I'm in Florida, unfortunately. Cool thing is, with your scarf being single crochet, you're going to probably very much appreciate single crochet because of how dense it is. It will take a bit longer, but awesome. So, thanks for hanging out. I have to go feed the cat and hang out with her and then do work. So, I will see you next time. Have an amazing day. Yeah, it's after 6 a.m. Ciao.